Yeah, hi, my name's Stephen Mark. I've been working in the SAP space for around 6 years, and I currently work as a public cloud solutions architect here at SUSE. As for a fun fact, whilst shopping for plants for my back garden just the other day, I actually ran into Prince William at the local garden centre, and we blocked him getting his kids into his car. Okay, so a typical working day. So the beauty of this role that I'm in is that so far no 2 days seem to be the same. So one day perhaps I'm meeting customers, helping them make informed decisions around how to move SAP into the public cloud. Another day I'm doing an enablement session for partners, perhaps delivering a deep dive technology session to help those partners be successful with their projects as well. And of course, every now and again, I'll get asked to do some marketing activity like this. Moving SAP to the public cloud is a complex operation. So there's often a lot of new technologies and new processes involved. Part of my role as a solutions architect is to design or to reduce some of the complexity, right, and minimize the effort that it takes for customers to do that migration. And part of that can mean building solutions guides or reference architectures, perhaps delivering webinars, and making those available to partners and customers. So when I generally speak to customers around SAP, the focus is it's often on architecture, and the conversation tends to revolve around IT. But SAP is intertwined with businesses and those business processes for the companies that use it. So it's always good to understand a little bit about what is happening and the reasons why it's being implemented in the first place. So the story I like the best is one that we have for a global automotive company, and part of what they do is build and manufacture engines on a production line. And one of their goals was to basically store the entire life of an engine that they create inside SAP. So whilst you would expect details like parts and serial numbers to be part of that manifest in SAP, the thing that truly amazed me was that the details they were keeping went down to how much torque or how much tension had been applied by the technician that was building that engine in the first place as he tightened the bolts when that engine was assembled. Combined with that was subsequent service and repair detail, which meant in the end you had this cradle to grave life cycle from the day the engine was born in the factory to the day that it was scrapped. And I kind of thought that was impressive. Yeah, so with regards to the top three tips, the first tip is simply to ensure that you have the right skills. So moving from on-premise into the cloud, things can be very different. So for example, the tools and technologies that you might use will be different. And certainly some of the processes and ways used to do things on premise don't necessarily translate when you're running SAP in the public cloud. So it's important to ensure that you have all the right skills in place. And the ones that spring to mind would be training from the cloud vendor itself. But of course, don't forget there's a whole whole selection of SUSE training out there available for customers that are doing this move. The second tip I have would be to involve everybody. So there are a number of decisions, both technical and business, which will probably need to be made as customers make that move into the cloud. And that would be things like consumption models, which products to deploy, how to architect, and so on. So it's really important to get input from all the key technology stakeholders. And again, the obvious ones will be SAP and the cloud vendor, but of course, SUSE and any services partner as well will have part of that knowledge to help build that solution. On top of that, it's not knowledge that you just need, you need just for the actual migration itself, but that should be an ongoing process to make sure that you always have access to the latest detail. So again, involving everybody. And then the last tip is don't forget day two. It's very easy to focus on a migration itself, how to get from A to B. And it's normally quite a complicated product, and that's why it gets a lot of focus. But it's also really key to think about what happens after that migration is complete. So do you have the right tools in place, the right technology, the right processes to manage the solution that gets deployed? So An example of that is that the likelihood is you would have an SAP landscape built on a series of SUSE instances in the cloud. Again, what tools are you going to use to maintain and patch those instances? Again, the chances are you'll have an HA solution as part of the architecture. Do you have the right skills, processes in place to ensure that you can maintain it properly and get true value from it? And again, think about these up front rather than wait until you actually need to do them, because that's the way that project costs escalate if you get things right or you don't plan ahead of time.